Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's nasdaqwitharshia. Today I have something to say to you all, and that is breaking news. Alibaba is starting to get delisted from the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. Of course, we will digress and discuss further on this after our long and boring disclaimer, of course. I think it goes something like this. I'm not a financial advisor, and I highly suggest that you do your own due diligence and research before taking part in any investment scheme. I know, pretty boring. Anyway, as you all probably know, back when Mr. Trump was president, he signed a legislation saying that if you Chinese companies don't play ball with us, we're gonna kick you out from our stock exchanges. And that legislation's name is Holding Foreign Companies Accountable. I know, it sounds like it should be belted on a megaphone, but we're not gonna do that because, the Chinese companies are presenting data in their financials to potential investors in the U.S. stock exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. But this legislation itself is a very, very serious thing and addresses a major problem. There's no supervision from the U.S. entity, and there's no compliance standards as far as the quality of those numbers from the Chinese companies that are being presented. So basically, the Chinese say that our numbers are good, trust us, but they're closing off their books from US supervision. And that is where former President Trump said, hey, if you don't let us check the quality of the numbers, we're gonna kick you out. Sorry, Chinese companies, but that makes a lot of sense. However, the Chinese never really played ball with that because our current president, Mr. Biden, kind of let it slide, but he also isn't wasting time getting into fights. He's already in the midst of a major crisis with Putin and Russia, and now he's starting another one in China with Jinping. Now, the SEC actually adopted the legislation, which is a huge surprise, because everybody expected Mr. Biden to slowly kind of phase it off with the Chinese. But it's being adopted, and now the big question is, what is going to happen with Alibaba and the rest of the Chinese companies if they don't comply with these requirements? And let me explain why the Chinese companies might have a little problem. But there's one thing you guys need to keep in mind and understand. This legislation states that if these Chinese companies don't comply with these requirements for 3 years in a row, then they will be delisted. So we're probably looking down for 3 to 4 years in a row if they don't comply. I think that the Chinese want the US money more than the US want them on the stock exchange, so they might make a deal to coexist. That is just my thinking, but this legislation requires something more than just opening the financial books. So we're going to read a nice CNBC article here. I will just share my screen with you guys in a brief moment. And while we're waiting, be sure to leave a like and comment your thoughts down below. So, here is our lovely CNBC article. So, let's see the key points. Major dual-listed Chinese technology shares trading in Hong Kong were hammered on Thursday amid fears that some companies could be delisted in the United States. Certain companies identified by the SEC will require auditing by a U.S. watchdog. These companies will be required to submit certain documents to establish that they are not owned or controlled by a governmental entity in a foreign jurisdiction. In other words, Chinese companies will have to name each board member who is a Chinese Communist Party official, the SEC said Wednesday. The U.S. regulator could stop the trading of securities that fall foul of its rules. So I think that could be a potential problem for the Chinese companies. But the probability of their financials being fake is gonna be like low because NIO, Tencent, and Alibaba are being audited by SEC auditors like PCAOB, EY, PwC, Lloyd PNG. But I think that this honestly does not matter because those auditing companies are multinational and have a global standard. All of these companies know that after Wirecard, nobody wants a disaster on their hands, and if something dirty comes out of China and they didn't catch it, they're gonna have some big storytelling to do. If you remember, Enron took down the biggest accounting firm, or what used to be the biggest accounting firm, Arthur Andersen. So I don't think the pain lies in financial numbers, but it lies in the China communist members who are working inside these Chinese companies. Because we all know that Alibaba is allegedly known to have been fueled by the Chinese government, NEO and Tencent alike. I think that this delisting will occur and may occur, but let's see what happens. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found this information helpful, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video.